loot box bullshit. All aboard the bullshit. Boop boop. Hello, I'm Kropo, and I don't want to work call centers anymore, even if they're for World of Warcraft. Also, I'm a dad. Not a literal dad, mind you. You see, I have the dubious honor of having my Blizzard account permanently banned for dad reasons. Yes, dad reasons. You see, as I grow older and transfer from the bloom of youth to the hardened kernel of middle age, I find myself more and more like a dad. Looking like a dad, certainly, as the DMs full of twink boys with daddy issues would suggest, and I find myself doing things that make me empathize with the archetypical dad. I've joined many of my forebears in charging to my defeat knowingly with the rallying cry, "It's the principle of the thing," with Blizzard. You see, there's a feature in World of Warcraft in which you can make your character's gear customized based on items that you've had in the past. Unfortunately, certain items like the shirt your character starts with were made unobtainable for some reason before they made it so that they could do that. And I asked for mine back, which should be an easy process. It's just check the date on the character. Yep, he got that shirt, and then you give him a new shirt. But no. So I canceled my subscription and pre-ordered the new expansion. And that was for about 3 months. And then after that, I was curious as to how things were. I sent an email saying, "Hey, you lost about $100 on that decision so far. Have you wanted to reconsider it?" And they replied that if I asked again about it, they would eventually suspend my account at increasing intervals until they closed it. Now, a normal person would just write that off and never give Activision any money ever again, regardless if they threaten to ban you or not. They're a pretty trash company, and I can't think of anything that they've done in the last 5 years that didn't have some sort of loot box bullshit or some other exploitative crap in it. I bought an Activision game in a while. But remember, I have dad brain now, so I thought it would be simply the most funny thing to just keep submitting tickets over and over, like every week, until they did actually ban me for sending them tickets telling them what I needed from them in order to give them money and play their games and be a customer again. Because it's the principle of the thing. And there was hesitation on my part. I had, up until this point, been playing that game in one form or another for over a decade. There were points in my life where most, if not all of my waking moments were dedicated to that game, and I'm forced to admit that banning my account for good represents me losing a bit of whatever I gained from that. The mounts, the experience points, the achievements, the little clothing outfits I can dress my characters up in, whatever the fuck battle pets are, just gone. And there's a fear to that, but there's also a certain elation to that. There's a certain sense of power. It's the principle of the thing. Both in the sense that I want and deserve that fucking made-up shirt, but also in the sense that it makes them mine all the more. These things aren't anything I can hold in my hand. They're virtual bullshit that will disappear as soon as Bobby Kotick looks in the mirror and decides he's not evil enough today. It's entirely dependent on Activision Blizzard's willingness to keep those servers running. Unless I make them permaban me in some high-strung act of defiance, which as a white man approaching middle age, I'm one to do. This is like Michael Douglas falling down if it were real, except not really, because middle-aged white dudes seem to be getting a lot more on spree killings now than they did in the 90s. Like, of the 90s trends making a comeback, we need to have, like, middle-aged men making spree killings less of a common thing be part of the trends coming on there, and then we need to keep that. It's not like I regret the time I spent playing WoW, it's just that I'd played it hoping that it would tide me over until I could be deposited into the world my parents and society had raised me to be in. I had hoped that deep down, shitposting and other stuff would be something I grew out of before moving on to bigger and better things. That I would be able to segue the social skills into a job like the articles told me I would back in like 2009. That I would transition into, if not greatness, at least stability where I knew my purpose and got some satisfaction from life. That definitely worked out well. At 110 out of 10 would recommend. And so what I have to show for it is some imaginary stuff that I don't even own. And my only choice is to give money to a multi-billion-dollar company who doesn't pay his employees enough to eat, or burn it all down before they can do so, and before they can do anything, in a fit of spiteful dad anger. Well, hello, spiteful anger, I'm Dad. There's a saying about good men planting trees in whose shade they will never sit. And that's all well and good, but have you ever tried burning down that tree despite billionaires and capitalism? Though I suppose, in this metaphor, the tree is plastic. Which isn't a really good idea to burn. But I'm not the one making plastic fucking trees, so that's fine. Also, this is a metaphor for me moralizing, sending passive-aggressive emails until they ban me, so this is a bit in the weeds here. Which is close to a tree, but not quite. There's a point in time where you have to re-examine your life, what you spent time in, what you got from it, and if you want to continue down that path. World of Warcraft represents nothing to me now than the opportunity to just log in a game and do a degree of menial busy work while I ignore shit at home, and literally hundreds of other games I could be playing, all because I occasionally jerk off at the thought of orc guys dominating Little Fox Dude. Which, yes, hot, but also I have recon, and like people who want to do that to me in real life, so I don't need to. In the end, World of Warcraft is now a more refined version of what it always was. A time sink to keep me occupied until I eventually die or the server shut down. It fills a hole in your life. And, I'm going to go ahead and say I kind of have other ways to fill holes in me. It delivered a little dopamine hit because it gave me the illusion that my efforts had a payoff to them, something that I don't really get in real life. And it morphed into something that I stopped fully enjoying years ago. And fortunately, I'm at that age, dad age, where I'm seeing the seeds that I've sown early in life start to sprout and blossom, and I'm seeing what I want to keep and what I want to burn down. And boy, I'm glad I burned that down.